How's it going, garden people? Welcome to the Hidden Gardens. Alright, so let's start off doing a garden walkthrough tour for mid-May. Off here in the front side garden, we have a star magnolia that's leafing out now, and that bloomed beautifully. That'll get fairly big, about 15 feet tall, 15 feet wide, but I'll limit up as we go so it's not too dense and full, but pretty enough. And the blue hollies, this is the pollinator for the Castle Spire blue hollies that I have. They're all starting to kind of leaf out after the bunnies got to them this winter. So at least they're all coming out. Whether I replace them with the replacements I got or not is still up in the air, but at least they are coming back, so that's a good thing. And we've also got some hydrangeas here, the salvia that was planted as well, all in a video a while back, is all coming out. The bunnies did save us one allium to enjoy, so yay for that. We do deal with bunnies quite a bit in this garden. They're pretty much all around, and I deal with them just by letting them do what they gotta do, and I'll work around them best that I can. As you can see, they're nibbling on these lilies that are in these pots here. And planted up here is the whole cut flower section. To the left there are a bunch of roses, so be sure to subscribe if you want to check that out. In the future, I'll do a video on it, probably when they're all starting to bloom. But as far as the cut flower section here, these are all flowers that I'm going to use for cutting this summer and hopefully sell a few bouquets, we'll see. And here we have a purple magic crepe myrtle that I've been debating about putting here, but I think I might move this to the other side of the yard and maybe put like a little fountain here. The noise would probably be a good spot for a fountain right here, as well as, you know, it helps out all the birds that visit the garden as well. Now, I might be asking for trouble here as far as the hydrangeas planted in with salvia and catmint in terms of watering needs, but I do hand water my whole garden, mainly because I haven't installed any watering drips yet, and that's a project for another day, particularly because our area usually does stay humid and rainy enough, but also I just haven't gotten that far yet, and like I said, another project for another day. So somewhere like these raised beds or the raised beds in the back would be a great place to install drip, particularly so I'm not a slave to watering every day, but eventually I'll get there. As for now, I'm just enjoying planting up as best I can and as much as I possibly can. All these hydrangeas are going to be coming out, spending hopefully a good amount of growth this year. The abelias that I was worried about have definitely come back. This one, the one to the left, and also the one down to the left. I did, however, pull one out just because it looked like it was really struggling. There was only a little teeny bit of leaf coming out. So I put that in a pot, and we'll see if that kind of grows up and grows big, but I replaced it with a butterfly bush, which again, watering needs between butterfly bush and hydrangeas are completely like opposite. So we'll see how things go as far as what plants will have success in this area and what I might have to pull out. I could have taken the time to deadhead all of these daffodils, but I'm one person with a bunch of kids and lots to do, so that's not something that I was concentrating on for this year. Maybe sometime in the future, but for now, they're just gonna sit and die back, and hopefully the other growth of all the other plants that are planted here will take over and kind of mask as the daffodil leaves die back. And I will hopefully be able to get in there and cut it back once it starts looking really ratty. See, this abelia is just starting to come out, but it is coming back, so that's a win, as well as this beautiful blue tree here. I'd have to look back for the name, but that's starting to put on some extra growth, so I'm very excited that this area is kind of building up and bulking up and doing what it's supposed to be doing, at least, which is growing things, so that's a good thing. Right here is a flamethrower redbud that I'm debating on planting here. We'll see. That gets about 15 feet tall, 15 feet wide, give or take, so I may plant this here, I might not, we'll see. Maybe extend this bed just a tad. Still, things are up in the air. This little area is still a work in progress, so I want to kind of find a way to like mask that trash barrel at least a little bit. Something weeping maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But this shed has worked out really well. I have some grasses that are planted in pots. The grasses really do add a nice movement to the gardens late in the summer. So I really do enjoy having the grasses here. As you can see, they've made it through the winter just fine in the pots. So we're about a zone 7 here. So when I do plant things in pots, I try to have like a 2-zone buffer. So something that's hardy down to zone 5. And here is a Gatsby Moon hydrangea, oak leaf hydrangea, which as you can see is put on a bunch of growth. So I'm super excited about that. As well as a salvia, a white salvia, and silver mound artemisia that is also planted on the other side of the front yard gardens. I've added these Celtic Pride cypress, 3 of them down there, and that's a low growing but wide type of plant that is supposed to be good for like erosion, so slope type areas, which is this area is a big slope, so hopefully that'll help kind of ground cover, so eliminating weeding and that type of thing. And the Castle Spire Blue Holly is coming back there, as you just saw, so high five for that. Again, with the deadheading, would have been nice to have gotten to, but real-time gardening, real small home garden here, and one-person gardener, so this is where we're at, and this is how my garden as it stands now for mid-May. And that's the thing, it would be great if I had a whole bunch of help and everything, but I don't. It's me, it's my home, it's my garden, and I do all the things. So I hope that this video helps inspire you, as well as show you that not everything is gonna be perfect in the garden, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be out trying to do it if you want to do it, because it's spectacularly fun and gives you just the greatest joy when things bloom and things go along the right way that you wanted them to go. So you can see the silver mound artemisia is repeated, as well as the daffodils on the outskirts here, and the Castle Spire blue hollies and their pollinators are also slowly leafing out. I really want to make those work because those seem to handle the afternoon sun that this area gets, as well as the temperature, and they don't look all burnt. So if the bunnies would just back off long enough for them to get tall enough and thicken up, then hopefully that'll be a future good evergreen screening, small evergreen screening for this whole little area. And these Dragon Prince cryptomeria are a bit burnt, winter burned. We had a bit of a dry winter, but I think that they'll pull through just fine and they'll kind of grow out of it. The 2 Dragon Prince cryptomeria that I do have planted up by the door, those look way better and much better than the newly planted fall planted ones. So fall planting for me is a little bit of a because I can't stay up on watering when it's freezing out. I'm all set. So I think I'll lean more towards spring planting as much as I can. I have added quite a few different things in these garden beds this spring, and all the hibiscus are just starting to poke out of the ground. So those are going to be huge and pretty and a really fun part of the blooming season. Hopefully the Japanese beetles will back off a bit on the foliage, but the blooms themselves are just unbelievably huge and absolutely stunning. And some echinacea trying to pop up, though the bunnies are probably gonna get to those before they get any further. They've been nibbling on these sky pencil Japanese holly as well, but hopefully those will shoot up before they do too much damage to them. So we will have to see what the summer and the season holds for these blue hollies. They are flowering. Whether we get any red berries on them this winter will be a different story, because they did do a number on the pollinators. I do have one in a pot, a pollinator that they didn't get to, so I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see for the winters, but when they do get the red berries, they are absolutely stunning. And the war on the weeds continue. As you can see, I need to come and make an assault on the uprising that's occurring up here. But here is a blue kazoo spirea that's looking really pretty. Hopefully limbing up the red bud behind it will give it a little bit more air and light this season, so that it'll bulk up and do what it wants to do in terms of blooms and such. Now this Ruby Falls red bud looks amazing. I did actually prop it up so it's a little bit more straighter, and it seems to not have bothered it one bit, because it's blooming amazingly. And actually this is the first year that I've really gotten some good blooms on this tree. It's a fairly young planted, new planted tree. In fact, pretty much everything in these gardens are young and fairly new plants, only being in the ground a season to 3 to 4 seasons depending. More grasses in these pots. I do have a bunch of annuals to plant into pots, so I may switch these pots out for now. We'll see. But for now, they're both coming back, which is spectacular. So I'm glad to see that those made it through the winter. And one little daffodil hanging on. And they really a pretty show. So I was glad that I was able to get all of those in, but the bunnies did do a number on all the alliums that I planted. So I think that purple one that I showed you was pretty much the only one that I got. And another blue kazoo spirea down there to the left in front of the lavender twist red bud. And I did plant another silver mound artemisia that I split. And some of the gores are coming back, not all of them. This baby blue spruce, I believe it's a dwarfwood variety, but we'll see as it gets bigger, is looking spectacular. Such a fantastic, I really enjoy this tree. It's just so pretty, and the bunny enjoys the shade that it gives it throughout the summer as well, because it definitely hangs out underneath it on the other side here. And I did replace these dwarf loropetalums, hopefully spring planting these plants and keeping up on watering through the summer will hopefully get them through this coming winter. We'll see though, but I'm hoping so, because I really enjoy those plants, particularly in these spots. I did replace this sky pencil holly because the one that was there didn't make it through. Again, fall planting is not for me. And a yellow twig dogwood that's starting to leaf out and is also starting to get a few flowers. It gets some very pretty dainty white flowers, so that'll be pretty. And the little pink flowers on these dwarf little loropetalums are really quite pretty. And a few daffodils still kind of hanging on. These kind are best for the pollinators opposed to the double bloom type. These ones, the pollinators can actually get in there and get the pollen that they need. And here is one of the pollinators that actually has some flowers on it. So cross your fingers that some of it gets cross-pollinated and we get some red berries for the winter. So even though I'm doing a voiceover on the inside, I can still hear the mowing that's occurring somewhere in the neighborhood on the outside. I don't know if you can hear it, but that's why I do voiceovers. They do seem to work a bit better for me, between neighborhood noise, my kids' noise, all the noise. But I am looking into a microphone because I do see a benefit as far as talking specifically about a plant that you're standing in front of. it does help in terms of direction and talking about plants. So like right here is a bunch of hellebores that I have planted, as well as you can see another dragon prince cryptomeria that again got quite a bit of winter burn going on. A little zebra grass in that pot right there. And over here I also recently planted a bunch of hellebores. This right here is a ruby tears crabapple, and it's stunning. Really a lovely addition to the front gardens here at the Hidden Gardens, particularly to this Wonderland garden. Just such a pretty tree to have, and the foliage is a nice dark red, which is just backing the blue spruce. It looks so pretty. And I'm pretty excited that that Piers japonica that's blooming all over the place here made it through. The foliage is looking a little rough, but I am seeing a little bit of new foliage coming out. That bright red, that's new foliage. So I think that that'll bulk up and look really nice. And with this ruby tears crabapple blooming right next to it, it looks really nice. Very nice combination, I think, for me in my garden. And right here we do have a Tonto crepe myrtle. I'm not sure if it's making it. It's not really leafing out yet, but there is some green in the bark, so I don't know. But this is where I might put the Purple Magic crabapple instead. Crepe myrtle. And another Castle Spire blue holly and sky pencil, Japanese holly, trying to make it through here. We've got some pretty blooming irises, purple irises, as well as a summer wine 9-bark. This one's really pretty. It's doing well in this spot. It's a fairly shaded area over in this corner, but it seems to be making it through. And these irises are fairly tall, but about to bloom and explode, so that should be nice once that comes out. I'm enjoying that. I did take out the Caryopteris that was here. I did take that out. So I'll replace that with something else, I think. Though that's kind of the fun part about gardening is, one thing goes, you can always put in something else. It opens up an opportunity. So that's what I'm going to take this little spot as, an opportunity. I haven't decided what will go there yet, but something fun. And here we have a Miss Lemonabelia that's leafing out better. This one's been in this garden for a couple of seasons now, and it keeps coming back reliably. It doesn't stay necessarily evergreen in the late winter. It's kind of like, but it leaves right back out and comes right back out, so that's exciting. As you can see, the weeds are trying to run amok, so I will get out here soon to tackle that. And you have a purple leaf sand cherry that's trying to come back, although I think the bunnies are trying to attack them. And we've got a grass here. I can't remember the variety name of this grass, but it's definitely a pretty one. And it mirrors the other side, that there's another grass of the same variety. And here's the Dragon Prince cryptomeria that I told you about, that it looks much better. This one's been in the ground for, I believe, 2 winters, but it definitely looks better than the other ones that were fairly recently planted. And Blue Wonder catmint right here, that's getting ready to just burst open with all its blooms. And we also have some salvia right here and veronica underneath this Tina Sargent crabapple that's blooming amazingly. I have 2 of these, one here and one on the other side. I definitely recommend having 1 or 2 or 3 crab apples or more in your small garden if you're able to do so. I go for the persistent kind, which means that the little berries that they do make, little crab apples, will stay on the tree until they either shrivel up or the birds get them. The birds did pretty much just devour the ones that were on these trees, so they pretty much took care of them all. So I was happy to see that, so they don't fall on the ground or make a mess or anything like that. And when they bloom, they're just absolutely beautiful. and the foliage is pretty throughout the season as well. So really pretty plants. I really enjoy this whole little view here. So these trees are fairly perfect. Small little garden trees, gets about 6 to 8 feet tall and wide. I'm gonna keep them in this little lollipop type of shape. So they'll fill in a bit more, but shouldn't get too much bigger than what they are now. And again, another sand cherry that the rabbits are getting to. I'll either put a little barrier or cage around them for now until the plants around them kind of fill in, so that hopefully it'll deter them from chewing on them and give the plants a chance to just kind of like get bigger and leaf out here. Sedum that I planted in the fall, and totally stoked asters right here that I just planted. That's a white one, so that should be pretty. Butterfly bush, summer skies, that I planted in the fall, that's coming back, and I also pruned up in a video not that long ago. And this dwarf honeysuckle, I'm debating about moving down to where the blue spruce is, because you can kind of tell I'm trying to go for like a yellow pop in the middle of each of these quadrants, but I do kind of like the dwarf honeysuckle where it is too. So I don't know, I'm kind of on the search for a variegated plant that'll work well in a part shade type area, because once it's full summer, that area does get a little bit more shade. Temple of Bloom 7 sunflower is leafing out really nicely. I shaped that up in a video a little while back, and I'll continue to shape it up into more of a tree form, so it should get a bit taller, but not too big. But it's leafing out really well. I'm enjoying that. Another butterfly bush there, bicolor. And right over here are some annuals that I unboxed in a video not that long ago, and I will plant up in some pots and spread throughout. Particularly the pots kind of help too if I put them in the corners to help with the hose. As you can see, I don't have one of those hose links, but definitely looking into investing in one of those at a future time, because I keep my hose out. And these annuals should be really pretty in pots throughout the garden, so we'll see what I can come up with for arrangements once I get the time and chance to do so. Sky pencil holly there, that one's looking a little rough. And this is the bicolor butterfly bush, and that's actually really pretty when it blooms out. It's got like orange and purple on the same bloom spike. It's really pretty. And this is another Japanese cryptomeria. The variety escapes me at the moment, but it's really, really cute. It'll stay about 4 to 6 feet tall throughout a 10-year period, so super slow growing, but it's super soft to touch too. Really, really interesting looking, fun little evergreen plant right there. And over here we've got some newly planted white shadow flowers. I can't remember the variety right now. And a smoke tree that's blooming out, and that the color of the foliage works really well where it's at. I've definitely tried to play with the color foliage throughout the garden, so the crabapple in the distance is also a darker colored foliage, and the trees, the white blooming crabapple, as well as this white blooming weeping cherry, is, you know, a greener type foliage, and the red buds over to the end there, that one's a darker color. So the foliage I've tried to kind of disperse throughout the gardens. And we have a tiny tough stuff hydrangea that I just planted recently. There's another one mirroring it on the other side. Weigelia that I planted in a video a while back, that one's starting to bloom out a little bit and grow up, so that's exciting. It looks like the little blue stem grass that I divided doesn't look like this part of the division is taking, but thankfully the original plant on the other side over there is coming back, so at least there's that. I didn't completely kill it. And another blue wonder catmint, that'll get about as big as the other one that is on the other side. So I'm trying to mirror to a point throughout the quadrants for each other, and that's what I kind of like to do. These tulips are really pretty, but I don't think I'll repeat tulips in these planters for next year. I think because now they're kind of in the way when I want to plant some annuals in here. So, but they are really pretty. They did look really nice for a while here. Geranium, and I thought I was going to need to divide this one because there was quite a bit of a hole there, but it looks like it's filled in. And I did get some short growing little alliums over there, so yeah, not sure what to do about those, but at least they're there. So things are filling in. We've got some Coreopteris that it seems the bunnies were super happy that I planted because they've been nibbling on those. Variegated red twig dogwood right there. Very, very pretty both in the winter and blooming out right now. It looks a bit slanted, and I think that that's because the hibiscus that are behind it, when they grow up, when they start to put all their foliage on and stuff, they're quite big. So I'm not sure if it's kind of like pushing it out a bit, but we'll kind of see what's going on there. I did take some of the bee balm out of this bed. I might put a little bit back in, but it was just kind of starting to take over. So, but fairly easy to pull out too. So more salvia as well as Weigelias dappled in throughout this bed. This is more of the pink blooming bed, and on the other side are more purple blooming, and the one off to the right from here is a little bit of a mix. More sedum that's coming back. As you can see, the hibiscus are starting to pop up there, and the bunnies definitely got to the alliums. There's definitely a need to go get some weeding through this bed, but we'll get there. Tradescantia grass is coming up nicely, so I'm glad about that. Hopefully that'll kind of do well to kind of fill in the areas below the hibiscus and the red buds that are over here. Again, the grass is just, let's just not talk about Bruno for now. I might replace it. I don't know. I'm not sure what I want to do about it, to be honest. But over here we have a lavender twist red bud that's coming up and coming out. Got some pretty blooms on it, and it's leafing out. I'm going to train it up to be about the same size as the other red bud. Again, with the mirroring, trying to not so much completely, mirror completely, but enough of a balance that it's a similar situation. Some Roseanne geranium, macra geranium right there that comes out as well, so that should spread out a bit. So yeah, the grass is definitely in rough shape. There's weeds throughout it and whatnot. I'm debating on just kind of reseeding very heavily and hoping for the best, but actual pathway might be nice later. I don't know, we'll see. This is where I'm debating the dwarf honeysuckle, where you can see that white tag in the middle, and or something with variegated yellow to greenish foliage for the middle here. And did a little reworking of this bed a little bit and added in 2 more Russian sage and took out a catmint. So things are moving along and shifting and changing. That's kind of the gardening deal. More salvia right here. So there's salvia that's marrying on either sides of the walkways. the same colors, but not the same varieties throughout. Like one side is pink, there's another side that's pink, and then it goes to purple and white. And right here is a coral bark Japanese maple. Love this tree. It's really, really fantastic. It's took into the pruning that I did this winter just fine, and it's leafing out beautifully. So I really enjoy this tree. It's stunning in the winter time. It's really pretty in the spring with this lime green type of foliage with a bit of a pink tinge to the tips of it. Really just a nice Japanese maple tree. That one should get about 15-20 feet tall eventually. So again, I'll do the limbing up situation, but just enjoying how things are coming along. Here's the, I'm not sure what plant this is, so I'll have to see when it blooms out, but here's the little blue stem. That's, at least I didn't kill it, so that's a good thing. And we have Tough Stuff hydrangea right here, Mountain Serrata hydrangea. There's another serrata on the other side, but I'm not sure the variety. That's, I think, a different variety. And again, with the Dragon Prince cryptomeria, that is a bit winter burned, but you know, I'll water it well, give a little bit of fertilizer, and hopefully it'll kind of grow out of that and grow up and kind of get acclimated and look better. Alright, so I hope that this video inspires you to get out into your garden and continue along on your gardening journey, whatever that looks like for you. And thank you for coming along on mine.